audio further.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this windy, wacky Wednesday. We are here in Ukukuyu in Kenya. Odonyo over in Kenya. My name is Kerry Dupree, and I will be your naturalist for this afternoon session of Live at the Waterhole. We have got some oryx here to start off on a good note. Some oryx, kremsbok, some very cheeky zebra. Yeah, watch out those kicks from the zebra. They can definitely give a nasty, they can pack a nasty punch. And giraffe as well. It's a nice big elephant giraffe bull. And here, going down for a bit of a drink. All those birds have just flown off are wattled starlings. So we are starting off today with a bang. Lots happening, lots of activity here in Kenya at Oldonyo. One spot on the left there is definitely checking us out. Wow, nice to see so many spot here today. So as this watering hole dwindles and has less and less water, obviously, so does the pressure of drinking become more and more for a lot of animals. So just a reminder, folks, that this is a live and interactive show. So please don't forget to tune in on the app, or if you're watching on the website, you can also register, send in your questions or your comments if you're with us today. If you have any questions or comments, looks like we're going to have an interesting day so far. Or you can also join in the conversation on YouTube or X. Don't forget to use the hashtag or go ahead and scan the QR code at the bottom of your screen. Oh, we've got a little young zebra with us here. It's like a bit of a teenager. She's a little bit scraggly. Maybe in life, there's a baboon that just shot across the screen just now. I don't know if you saw that. Wow, we do have a lot happening today at Oldonyo. Check out these eland and their spiky, long horns of theirs. Not want to get stabbed by an oryx for sure. Quite an interesting view here. About 2 weeks ago, whoop, he's giving them a bit of a fright. About 2 weeks ago, we had 5 different mammal species at this watering hole. I was pretty much blown away, I must say. We had elephant, giraffe, we had zebra, oryx, and we also had eland. 5 different species at this one watering hole. Penelope Kenyon, welcome, welcome. And hope you enjoy the show with us today. And I do have a very good feeling we're going to have some great sightings. I mean, look, we've already started the show off with a bang. Well, shame the zebra are a little bit of bickering and quarreling going around with the zebra. When you put too many zebra in a small space together, that's just not a good combination. There's lots of biting and kicking taking place. And this one zebra looks like he's had a little piece of his tail chomped off. It can happen while fighting. Obviously, being chased by predators, they can also get their tails have a casualty, which is better to lose your tail than your life. But also, while fighting, males can bite each other's tails off. Catherine, welcome back to the show. I believe it is very hot in Germany at the moment. Yes, so I would love to see a pool party today. That would be rather entertaining. So although it might be quite hot for you in Germany, Catherine, it is very windy, a windy Wednesday here in South Africa, I must say. I am bundled up, have many layers on, and it has been a rather cold, windy day. The sun is shining, but the wind is definitely present. Lots of dust around. Ooh, and we have some elephants coming to join us at the plan. So Mercedes-Benz, yes, apparently we did have 1 ton was finally back. I am yet to see 1 ton on this camera, but of course I have seen quite a few pictures. This little bull still has quite some way to go before he can compete with 1 ton, though, I must say. And of course, he cleared out the watering hole, but he can come for a drink. Definitely a lot of activity. Oh, we've got some baboons. Baboons are always the most entertaining creatures to watch, I must say. See what mischief these baboons are going to get up to. There's wattle starlings in the background. This oryx is rather ballsy, I must say. Pretty brave. Sometimes the elephants don't always love to share their watering holes. You can see he's got his ears forward and he's thinking, who these oryx think they are? Coming to my watering hole? Some elephants are definitely not the sharing type. So Georgia is asking what I have been up to in my time away. So I've actually, the last 10 days, been on a horseback safari in Zimbabwe. Of course, come back with a few injuries here, there, and everywhere, as one does. I've just come from my physio, and she says I should think about changing professions, which is definitely not going to happen anytime soon. But yeah, all worth it. Had the most amazing time in Zimbabwe on a horseback safari. Yeah, we had the most incredible lion sightings. We had amazing elephant encounters on horseback, elephants in camp, basically almost grabbing my boot off of my foot. So yes, Georgia, thank you for checking in. I hope that you are well and that everyone is having a lovely Wednesday so far, and their week is being successful and productive. I know everyone's lives can semi go back to normal now that the Olympics are over. Anyone who's been watching the Olympics, the baboons are coming in here for a bit of a drink. This elephant bull is not too comfortable, I must say. He keeps flaring up his ears, holding his head up. Maybe there's another bull in the distance. Or maybe he just doesn't want to share his watering hole. The poor baboon looks like he's missing part of his tail. Possibly casualty from a fight. Or maybe he got on the wrong end of a leopard. While we've got lots happening here, let's have a bit of a quiet moment just to enjoy these beautiful sounds of nature as we wind into our afternoon of game viewing and safari. Maybe we can hear our elephant sucking up some water. Oryx must be rather careful with one another, I must say. It wouldn't be easy it wouldn't be too difficult for them to stab one another with those sharp, long horns of theirs. Very good defense against predators. Or fighting with one another. I wouldn't want to get that sharp, spindly horn stuck in my eye or side of your face. Rather be uncomfortable. Got another big elephant bull coming to join the party here today. Look at this beautiful oryx. Yeah. It was always very impressive seeing these big tuskers here in Kenya. I must say I wasn't too impressed with the elephant bulls over in Etosha and Ukukuyu. They're pretty large bodies, I must say, but their tusks are rather short and stumpy. And look who we have coming to pay us a visit. It's a little wagtail, little pied wagtail coming to join us here in between these two oryx. Need to look for some insects, some food. Elephants are going to have a swim. And Catherine, if we are lucky, we were over at Oldonyo earlier. I did see that there was a few elephants there. Maybe if we're lucky, they'll build up for a midday pool party. The cameras were pretty quiet over in Juma, although there was lots of little creatures out and about. There were some water monitors, some hardy dars roaming around. A lot of little creatures at the Juma Dam camp. Elephant is having the best. A bit away, nice and cool. Cool yourself down after a long hot day. Bulls are definitely on edge a bit. Let's see. A nice big tear in his ear. this big ball. Be a good way to identify him. He's also got weird wrinkles on the side of his leg there. Maybe an old scar or old injury. Oh, check out this big guy coming in. This is a really nice tusker. Look at him. Impressive. Come for a drink. Oh, look at those impressive tusks. These tusks on this boy on the right hand side. He's got some nice tusks there. And his ears look like he has definitely been through a lifetime of moving through the African bush. Look how tattered those ears are. Shame. Oh, looked like we had some namakwa doves there flying off. Now I bet this elephant ball could tell us a lot of stories. Let's just have a quiet moment, folks, to just enjoy and listen to this big elephant bull splashing himself down. What a lovely sight this is. It's nice to just listen some time, have a bit of quietness, and just listen to these beautiful elephants. Also heard the zebras vocalizing in the background there. We have a little superb starling here roaming around at the front of the pan. And of course, a little pied wagtail, which I must say are not my best friends because I have spent a lot of time around boats. And pied wagtails love to hang around on jetties and boats so they can be closer to the water, so that they can feed and make their nests and for breeding purposes. Normally, pied wagtails are in pairs, and they love to make a lot of nests on your boats and jetties. So pied wagtails are not my biggest friends. But anyways, um, so yeah, we had a few questions coming through from Laduma. Is asking about if elephants go through a growth spurt during musk. So Laduma, not that I'm aware of. Oh, we have a few secretary birds also coming to join us at the watering hole boats on either side of the elephant. So not that I'm aware of. So it's kind of just like how. So obviously, when elephants become sexually mature, it's normally kind of the phase when they start going into this period of must, and this is when they have elevated levels of testosterone. An indicator of musk can be obviously they have excretions coming from their temporal glands. Their behavior can definitely be altered and modified in a very drastic way. They can change their behavior. So chasing away the poor secretary birds. All they wanted to do was come for a drink. So yeah, they can be quite different, their behavior, so definitely do need to always watch out for these individuals because they can be quite unpredictable. And another big indicator of an elephant bull in musk is also he will be excreting a fluid from his penile sheath, which often discolors his back legs. Sometimes it can even be a greenish color, and it has a very foul smell. So yeah, smell is not not pleasant at all. So these are all kind of signs that you can look for. So when you're in the bush around elephants, obviously the most dangerous. Oh, secretary bird. This has frightened our elephant. She definitely wanted to come for a drink, the poor secretary bird. So yeah, when you're in the bush, spending time with elephants and wild animals, you always have to remember that a lot of the time, most animals are actually more afraid of us humans than we are of them. I mean, except for lions at night. Lions at night are a bit of, can be a bit of a menace, but again, most animals are generally more afraid of us humans than we are of them. And yeah, you can actually, as long as you're calm and relaxed, a lot of these animals can get quite close to you. Obviously, you always make sure you have a guide with you close by because these are the things that a guide would be looking for if you have an elephant bull that is a must. His behavior, his patterns. Otherwise, generally, elephant bulls are quite calm. You can get quite close to them. Female elephants with babies are also quite temperamental, and young elephant bulls that are still with their mothers that misbehave at times, but it's very easy to misbehave and be a little bit naughty and charge humans when you have your mother close by to protect you. So I'm going to say that with regard to your question, I wouldn't say that elephant bulls go through a growth spurt when they're in musk. Obviously, elephants are constantly growing and changing their whole lives. Um, Obviously, the older they get, once they've kind of hit their growth peak, their tusks, which are actually modified teeth, are constantly growing. So they might, just like us humans, reach a stage in their life where their body size might not get any bigger, but of course those tusks of theirs carry on growing. And we had another question from Donna asking about if males, also about musk, if males come into musk because female is in heat, or does the female come into heat because the male is in musk? So generally, this is a question which is quite interesting, and I have asked quite a lot of different guides in different areas, and it does seem like generally there are different periods in different areas depending on the climate when elephants will come either come into season or come into musk. So generally, it's not always in synchrony, and generally the birthing period, ideally, female elephants would want to give birth just as the rainy season is setting in, so there's enough food and enough water to feed themselves in order to produce milk for their little ones. But I'm seeing this year there are a lot of female elephants that are probably going to give birth during the middle of the dry season. And with this drought that we have ahead of us, I hope that all of these little baby elephants will make it through the year. So how it will happen with the elephants is obviously the male elephant will go into musk and he will go in search for a female elephant that might be in season. Not all female elephants will come into season at the same time, and not all male elephants will come into musk at the same time. Yes, there's peak periods in different regions where they might come into these fertile periods, but it's not always at the same time. And it's kind of similar with the giraffe. So once the female is in the season, and if she happens to be lucky enough for a big enough male who's in must to find her, she will often ward off the younger bulls because she'll obviously be in season, and a lot of other young bulls will smell this scent of a female elephant that's ready for procreation, and all these young bulls will start following her, but she will not allow these younger bulls to mate with her because she's waiting for the biggest and the best genes to come along. So kind of the same in giraffe as well. So I wonder if these two elephant bulls are going to let these oryx and eland come down for a drink. Got all our wattle starlings coming back too. Looks like we also have an impala in the background there. Yeah, gestation period. I've also heard some recent information, or there's been recent studies about male and female baby elephants and gestation periods. So apparently, if a female elephant is giving birth to has a fetus that is a female or a male, it can actually change the amount of months. So the gestation period can be slightly altered depending on male or female. All right. It seems like we might have had some slight technical difficulties in Aldonio. Looks like we've come over to the waterhole here at Safari Lodge in Zimbabwe to a very charming that could be waiting for lunchtime, or maybe the vulture feeding has already happened. The vulture restaurant here in Zimbabwe. Looks like we've still got enough water here. This pan, the pomopani trees look like they've lost most of their leaves. Oh, there's a guinea fowl over there. Helmeted guinea fowl. So Rachel is asking about tusks and what would be the purpose of an elephant and such long tusks. So obviously what's happened is everything in the world is always adapting and evolving and modifying in order to better suit their environment, or to better modify themselves in order to be able to feed and sustain themselves. So the reason that elephants have got these long spindly tusks is obviously linked to their feeding and their diet. They need to use those tusks in order to rip up and pull vegetation, unfortunately to dig into the bark of some trees in order to rip off the bark, and also digging up some roots of other trees. So, very important and crucial part feeding for elephants. So I love how, unfortunately, it is dry season. So yes, it is very dry in Victoria Falls right now, but this pan does have some nice lush green vegetation. Besides the marabou stalks, which we have here, we also have a few white-backed vultures, or hooded vultures that were flying around earlier. And what these marabou stalks are waiting for is actually for this water to start drying up and once their puddles become exposed, the fish have less place to hide, and that's when marabou storks have a buffet of fish. So that's probably one of the only times I've seen marabou storks actually hunting would be for fish. They would wait for these puddles to dry up, and they have to use that long open gaped bill of theirs in order to scoop up some fish for them for a meal. Welcome, welcome, Mindy. Apparently this is a first at the waterhole for you. So I just want to welcome you to the watering hole here. We have some amazing sightings today. We have already had some giraffe and some oryx, eland, elephants over in Kenya. We have some whiteback vultures here. Also look like they've, I think feeding time at the vulture restaurant in Victoria Falls is normally around 1 o'clock. So I think feeding time is actually over. So what they do is they do supplement feed these vultures at the vulture restaurant. And what vulture love to do is as soon as they're done feeding, they then go down to the water for a nice drink and a bit of a groom, digest their food a bit before they carry on with the day. White-backed vultures. No, they don't look like the most beautiful of creatures, but every single creature, bird, big and small, animal, insect, even flies, have a purpose in this world. So vultures play a very important role in the circle of life. They are kind of a waste disposal system or removal system. If it wasn't for these vultures, there would definitely be a lot more bacteria and parasites, a lot more diseases in the natural environment. So very important to have these vultures. This marabou is giving himself a nice clean. So you've got this marabou stork, and you've got this. He's got this very interesting looking pouch underneath his throat there. I'm having some debates. Oh, what's going to happen? Okay, they're obviously happy with sharing the spot together. So I've been having some debates recently with a few guides about what the purpose of that thing is, their little pouch underneath their throat. I know there's always some debate as maybe it has something to do with when they're soaring up high in the sky, it could help with something in the wind, but yeah, I think the only proven kind of reason for having this pouch underneath their throat is for the males during breeding season. So they do get very big and puffy and quite red. And obviously, for some reason, who knows why, the females seem to be very much attracted to this large pouch underneath the marabou stork's throat. So Rory is asking, why marabou storks? Why storks or vultures look like they've always lost so many feathers? So yeah, they're not, I would say vultures and marabous are not the cleanest of creatures. So you can see some vultures like this marabou and other vulture species will also have completely bare and naked heads. And that's actually a natural occurrence. It's so that when they're sticking their head inside carcasses, they don't have to worry about all their feathers getting dirty and stuck. But yeah, I would say vultures are not the best at grooming, not the best at cleaning, and obviously with the kind of nature of how they feed and scavenge on carcasses, that does discolor their wings and feathers quite a lot. If you've ever sat under a tree with vultures or marabous above you, I know you can definitely attest that they don't have the greatest smell as well. So yeah, it's not always a natural. Can be natural elements that make their feathers and wings not so pretty. But yeah, the reason for no feathers on their head, like with this marabou, is so that when they're feeding, it's kind of helps them not to get too dirty. Although, yeah, marabou storks to me always look like an old gentleman that's trying very hard to go dressed up in a fancy suit somewhere, but kind of forgot his razor, maybe got left out in the sun for a little bit too long, got some sun damaged skin, and maybe he just needs a good shave and a good moisturize. And the reason for his legs being so white like that in the marabou stork is actually his uric acid from his defecating on his legs, and that kind of acts as a cooling system to cool down their legs, one, to kind of reflect the light. Also, it kind of helps to keep their legs protected for when they're in kills and carcasses. That uric acid on their legs kind of acts like a sanitizing, disinfective layer. Catherine, wow. It's exciting that you are currently planning a trip to see the bearded vultures in the Alps. I would definitely be keeping a lookout to see what kind of amazing vultures you get, or what vulture pictures you get from those bearded vultures. So we do also have bearded vultures here in southern Africa. Of course, they are quite limited in their habitat. They only occur in a very small part of South Africa, in the mountainous areas in Drakensberg, and these bearded vultures are very special and unique in that their primary food source is actually bone marrow. So what they do is they'll actually take the bones from the kill, fly up as high as they can, and drop these bones onto a rock. And then from there they go and actually feed on the marrow that's inside the bone. So very cool vulture, bearded vulture, I must say. We've got some more visitors coming in, more vultures. All the white-backed vulture. So we're just talking about their heads. You can see how specially designed they are so that they don't have too much feathers on their head so they can feed with ease. So Zemi is asking if the female marabou storks also have the pouches, just like the males do. So Zemi, I have seen mostly males and females do both have throat pouches, but it's only the female's throat pouches that actually swell and become very bright red, like with the males. Oh wow, look at this. This marabou stork's head here. He's got very red head. I wonder if that's actually part of his skin or his leftover parts of his last meal. Oh, they are, yeah, to me, not the most attractive creatures to look at. Whoa, check out this guy. That's definitely a boy. That's definitely a male. And I think he's looking for a lady. You'll see also that obviously they'll get very red patches, his throat pouch, and also red around the neck too. Neck and face will become quite. There is some guinea fowl in the background there. It looks like a hooded vulture who's joined us down here too. Again, you can see this little hooded vulture, especially adapted, very thin little beak, because he likes to get into the bony areas and underneath the skin for all the little tissues and tendons. So he's not as well skilled and trained like the vultures, the white-backed vultures or the marabous at ripping thick, strong flesh. He's more especially adapted for getting at the smaller tissues and tendons buried inside. I think this vulture's this marabou stork is a little bit confused. Must be very hungry if he's trying to eat a stick. You can see his red patch On his shoulder there is bright red. So again, you can see this could obviously be a male, the indicator of male and female. I'm not too sure what he's doing with this stick of his. Rather strange. Oh, looks like something's coming in the water. More vultures having a swim, or do we have some company at the pan? Wow, that red on the back of this vulture's neck is definitely a very piercing red. Wow. So I don't know if anyone has been keeping up with the Olympics and the closing ceremony. I did just watch the closing ceremony, quickly caught up after safari. But I'd love you to send in your favorite moments of the Olympics. If anyone has been following and watching. Ah, there's a little black crate. Hello, little friend. Yeah, amazing to see the closing ceremony. It wasn't quite my vibe though. It was very much like an out of space kind of situation going on. It was a little bit weird with this golden man coming down from the sky. But the Tom Cruise scene was pretty cool with him riding off with the flag on his motorbike. But I have to say, if I were to pick one of my favorite moments from this last Olympics, it would definitely have to be seeing Snoop Dogg in riding attire, in jumping gear. That made my day. That was definitely my top highlight moment from this last Olympics. Seeing Snoop Dogg in horse riding attire. So apparently last year he made a bit of a scene, or he made an appearance on the horse jumping arena, and this year because he was so popular and people loved him, that they brought him back to the equestrian division, and of course they had to dress him up in some proper equine attire. So that was definitely my favorite moment of the Olympics. So please send through your favorite Olympic moments. I know there was some incredible events and records broken, lots of history made. The swimming was amazing. It was always good to see Zimbabwe and South Africa featuring in some of the swimming events here and there. I know Botswana did quite well in the relays the last couple of days. And who's still eating sticks? Must be really hungry. What is going on there? America did quite well in all the acrobats and kind of all the very all the gymnastics. I know America did pretty well. There were some whales apparently joining the surfers in the surfing division. Watched a bit of the horse jumping and cross country. It's pretty cool to catch up. So please, I'd love to know what your favorite Olympic moments were of the Olympics. Yes, Paris can finally go back to normal now once all the Olympics have cleared out. So Penelope, thanks for your comment on the Olympics. Yes, Tatjana Smith did very well in the swimming and made her country very, very proud, I must say. And yes, it was always very good to see the South African runners doing super well. I do love the South African colours because they do always stick out quite a lot. So you can always see them quite well. There was a swimmer that also did quite well. From Zimbabwe that actually used to swim with my little brother. So yeah, it was very good to see one of the Cyprianus boys in the Olympics. Wearing his country's colours. So yeah, very proud of all those Zimbabweans out there that made it to the Olympics and did our country proud. And Joanne Miller, yes, the gymnastics was incredible. I must say, I did try and spend a bit more time this year watching the Olympics, and I was very surprised. The gymnastics was incredible. I kind of always seemed to think China and America were always kind of at the top doing very well. I didn't know there was such events like breakdancing or anything like that. So that was quite interesting to see all these new types of events at the Olympics. Of course, I've just come back from a horseback safari in Zimbabwe, and we had a very good laugh at hobby horsing. I don't know if anyone has ever heard of hobby horsing, yes, it is a sport. I don't know how. It was actually started in Finland, kind of like riding on a broomstick. And they have turned this into an actual sport. And we had a good giggle that one day it's going to probably be in the Olympics, hobby horsing. If you want to have a good laugh, please go and Google it. It has put me in stitches for hours. Yeah. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed your time watching the Olympics. So we are here at the watering hole in the Safari Lodge over in Zimbabwe. And yeah, we were just commenting on that it's lucky there's still some water here for the animals to come and feed on. It must be a very hot day because have a look, there's a little guinea fowl there just standing in the shade. I must say, some of my most painful days in the bush that have been the hottest of all days have been the days when at 10 o'clock in the morning you can see the birds gula flapping with their mouths open, gasping for air. That's when you know it's going to be a hot day. The parlor and the birds are all standing in the shade, sitting in the shade. You know, it's going to be a hot day. So, yeah, we're heading into August now. So, September, October. So, they call October Suicide Month. Oh, hey guys, what's up? Some warthogs? Can we just check out the vultures? It's a very interesting little setting here. Yeah, they call October Suicide Month in Zimbabwe because it's the hottest month. So now August is very windy, as is Johannesburg, very windy today. And so is Zimbabwe, very windy August. And once you head into September, October, yeah, the temperatures start to climb pretty high, between 45 to sometimes, if you're unlucky, 52 degrees Celsius. Rather hot, I must say. So yeah, look at these little warthogs. Catherine, thanks for your comment. Seems like Germany did really well with 2 gold medals in the dressage. And yeah, crazy that you know someone that has been to the Olympics. And I definitely agree with you on that one, Catherine. Hobby horsing is ridiculously funny. Yes, Catherine, I agree with you. Hobby horsing is the most half conversation about how we were trying to encourage one of the our British horse, um, yeah, horsey chicks to start a hobby horsing stables and how she could make millions with hobby horsing and do custom designed hobby horses and hobby horse breeding. And yeah, no, it's definitely quite a laugh, I must say. Hobby horsing. Just when you think humans have lost their plot. It's a shame. Not much food for these warthogs to feed on here. They are on their haunches looking for something to eat. So unfortunately, I think these warthogs have either hung around from lunchtime or they have come a little bit late for the feeding because the vulture feeding here at Safari Lodge, as far as I'm aware, takes place at about 1 o'clock sometimes. And I think these warthogs are a little bit late for the feeding session. But you can see the vultures down there getting a good drink them to digest their food before they continue with their day. So it's quite interesting the first time I saw a warthog actually feeding on a carcass. So there are known warthogs to feed on carcasses, or at a carcass. I've seen them. 2 weeks ago we had one warthog that was feeding on a bone with some meat on it, and yeah, they are omnivorous. I have especially seen warthogs feeding on the kind of stomach content and grass within the stomach of, and I think it was an impala. So yeah, yum yum yum, pre-digested food, delicious. Mercedes-Benz, yes, the swimming was pretty incredible, I must say. It was good to see South Africa featuring quite a lot in the swimming, and the diving and the gymnasts were absolutely out of this world. Every time I watched them out, the gymnasts, I always thought, how on earth do those ladies look so elegant with those flags? I definitely know that that would not be a place that I would do very well. Oh, and check out this marabou stork. He's standing on one leg, but holding his other leg. Interesting. Give me a bit of a rest. And Paris, Joanne Miller, Paris also did a good job as well. And yeah, they did do a great job hosting the Olympics. Good luck to the USA for next year's Olympics. I saw there were a few concerts happening on the beach in LA, welcoming the Olympics for the next host venue. Shame, I don't know what these warthogs are feeding on, but there can't be much there for them to eat. Charlie Kelman, thank you very much for your comment. Yeah, it's always nice to see a variety of different species at a watering hole. Yeah, it's always a very good indicator of a healthy environment. Like we had some black crates earlier, we've got these warthogs with marabou storks. We also had a white-backed vulture. Just a hive of festivity. Oh, and these warthogs are coming from mud bath. Got the guinea fowl over there. Seems like it's a hot enough day to have a good old mud bath. Oh, I love watching warthogs have a bit of a mud bath. It was rather entertaining. Check out these guys. It looks like three little piglets that are no longer little piglets anymore. With their mother, the female. See her standing up there. And yeah, she's lucky to have had three little ones surviving this long. Warthogs can have anything. I've seen up to 6 babies in one litter. Of course, warthogs are definitely on the menu for a lot of predators. They don't always survive because. But why don't we have a quiet moment just to enjoy these warthogs having a little bath? Isn't that just such an awesome sight to see? These warthogs having a lovely mud bath, getting all muddy and dirty. Oh my goodness, I must say, it is always so adorable watching warthogs mud bath, getting all covered in mud. And here we have some guinea fowl, helmeted guinea fowl that have come down, picking at some seeds on the shoreline there. The African jacana, lily trotter, or the Jesus bird, because he can walk on water, and a pair of Egyptian geese. Whoop. See, the Egyptian geese are kind of feeding there on some reeds and vegetation. Egyptian geese are, slightly, somewhat of an invasive species, and in some areas very much considered as a pest. In South Africa, I do know that in some areas on private property, they do encourage you to get rid of them if you can, or if you find a nest to shake the eggs, because they are invasive, and also they take over water sources, so they will often chase away a lot of other bird species or waterfowl species. I do even know of Egyptian geese that have kicked vultures out of their nests. So yeah, not the best species to have around. Of course, they do also make quite a ghastly sound. So amazing how these invasive species become invasive everywhere else besides where they actually originally occurred. So yeah, not the best bird to have around, Egyptian geese, because most vultures are between endangered to critically endangered species, so they don't need to have more complications when it comes to their nests. All right, seems like we might have some elephant activity at one of our other locations. Why don't we head across and see where we have some elephants waiting for us? Oh, welcome to Tembe, everyone. And we have some nice big tuskers here at Tembe Elephant Park. They are enjoying the afternoon shade after having a nice drink. Look at these boys and their beautiful long tusks. Nice tuskers here. These are all bachelor bulls. Again, we were talking about elephant bulls and must, and how a lot of elephant bulls you can get a lot closer to them than females with babies. These elephant bulls are generally very, very chilled, I must say. And if you are ever near these bulls, you would always keep a lookout for those signs of the bulls being in must, or any signs of agitation or irritation. Because again, sometimes elephants that have injuries can also, act in a bit of a temperamental way. So actually, very interesting. On one of my last trips to Zimbabwe, we were watching some elephants while on a game drive, and yeah, it was pretty cool. The elephants were all calmly feeding around us. Something must have happened to disturb them. We got a bit of a whiff of maybe the lions that were in the area, and all of a sudden the behavior instantly changed. I mean, our vehicle was stationary off, so it wasn't a human influence. I think a whiff of lions that disturbed them. And as they all turned around and started trumpeting and getting all upset and agitated, we actually could see even the little baby elephants had this liquid coming from their temporal gland. So that was pretty cool. I didn't know baby elephants also had the secretion. Of course, not in the excess amount that males do when they're in musk. So when males are in musk, they'll be profusely leaking this liquid from their temporal gland. But whereas females and babies, they'll just have a slight trickle of this liquid when they're stressed, with the environmental conditions, or could also be lacking of food or again stress. So it's pretty cool to see this little baby elephant excreting some liquid from his temporal glands. So it does sound like we had quite an exciting morning in the sunrise safaris today. If any of you were watching, I must say I did have to double check with our directors if everything that I got on the update was really true, because yes, we had a pretty exciting day so far on the sunrise safaris. So as far as I know of Amakala, I only know of the two amigos, or is it the three amigos, the brothers. Today, it could have been on yesterday's sunset safari or this morning's sunrise safari. There was Pumelela and the cubs, which were actually seen. So very cool to see those little cubs seen with their mother, all huddled up on the road. Although they're not very small anymore, they look like they're shaping up to be going to be quite, big cheetahs and very impressive individuals, all sitting on the road having a bit of play and interaction. The lovely photos there, if you want to go and have a look, see, you can check on Facebook on the African Cats Facebook page. You can find those photos there. They're very, very cool. A lot of play, interaction between the two, all of the individuals. So that was the update from Amakala. So lots of spots, some cheetah spots for Wednesday. And on Juma, goodness gracious me, there was just quite a bit happening on Juma. So we had, obviously, we had Corky and Ribbon that looked like they had just had a delicious meal, probably from one of the lion kills that was in the area. Langa was up a tree with a duiker kill. And very close to Langa, a few hundred meters away, was one of the Mohawk male lions with a buffalo kill. The Nkahuma females were also around. Amy managed to find the Nkahuma females on Juma for the sunrise safari. So it seemed like there was lots happening. I'm pretty much guessing just, that probably Corky and Ribbon might have got leftovers from one of the kills somewhere. Poor Lunga had to take her kill up a tree, otherwise it probably would have been taken away from her by one of the lions in the area. Otherwise, I'm sure Lunga would have wanted to take her duiker kill to her little baby cubs somewhere to feed them, because I know Lunga has cubs. Lunga the leopard has cubs at the moment, but isn't that crazy to have a leopard in a tree with a duiker kill? And a lion with a buffalo kill, and then of course these hyenas roaming around that are all fat and full from their meal. The Nkahumas were also around, and Nkahuma are part of lions. And of course, my most exciting news of the whole month is that Cedric managed to find the Lumber's cubs. So I am super excited, overjoyed. If you haven't seen the news or if you haven't been on the safaris recently, yeah, very, very exciting. Well done to Cedric for finding Kilamba's cub. What an exciting day it sounds like it was on this morning's sunrise safari. Wow. So with all those kills around, I would pretty much guarantee that if you tuned in this afternoon to the sunset safari, there would probably be quite a lot of activity. Lions eating buffaloes, leopards in a tree, with a kill, there's going to be hyenas everywhere trying to get some scraps. So, yes, lots of excitement on our safaris. Charlie Kelman, yes, aren't elephants just the most peaceful creatures to watch? They're so tranquil and just so, just very peaceful creatures to watch. I must say it's always really nice having encounters with elephants, especially when they're calm and relaxed and Look at this one elephant, the one with the big tusks on the far left there. He's deciding whether he's got enough energy in his trunk to pick up sand, and every now and then he picks up sand and throws under his belly, otherwise he just rests his trunk on the ground there. His tusk is here at Tembe, rather impressive. Nice little shady spot where it looks like there's a bit of a sodak area there, and that's probably what the elephants are also coming for. So to have a bit of a sand bath, feed on some of these minerals, get a drink of water, have a mud bath if they feel up to it too. In the perfect spot, right in the shade. Nice sand bath, cooling themselves down. Magnificent creatures. We're so privileged to be on this earth and be able to witness these incredible animals. I know some people think, oh, it's just another elephant, or oh, it's just another impala. But yeah, who knows how long we still have these creatures around with us for. So every elephant, every impala is always a special. And I think that has got to be definitely one of my most favorite things about going on safari with new people, is that when you have new clients and they get excited about seeing another elephant or another impala, it kind of just reminds you of how lucky we are, and that it's not just another elephant or another impala. See these palm trees just at the bottom there, probably also having grown from an elephant dung. So elephants are also known as the gardeners of Africa. They are seed dispersal agents for many different plant species. Let's see what else is happening at the waterhole here. Wow, I must say, it's nice to see these acacias have gotten a bit greener since last time I saw them. Acacia tree species are very important for the ecosystem because, of course, they provide a lot of pods and leaves to a lot of animals during the dry season when there's not much else to feed on. So Dylan is asking about tusks. What could cause elephants' tusks to become uneven? Well, first of all, Dylan, elephants' tusks, just like your teeth, you can chip your teeth, you chip your nails. Depending on how much or how hard they use their tusks, they can very easily chip and break their tusks. And of course, this can cause their tusks to be uneven and break. And of course, the way that they use their tusks, so they actually use their tusks like a tool, and that's how they can shape and form their tusks differently and have different kind of curves and grooves at the end. And every elephant is actually very unique and very different in how their tusks are shaped and formed. It all depends on genetics. So like some elephants, you get tuskless elephants that have no tusks at all. And again, this is not an adaptation of an elephant choosing to have no tusks in order to not be poached. There's no way an elephant can, in its mind, decide that it doesn't have tusks. So this is a recessive gene. So if you think of it, a lot of the big tusked elephants nowadays are being shot or poached or dying, and that with them being lost are their genes, the genes for big tusked elephants. So that's why nowadays we're left with a lot of elephants with smaller tusks, or even elephants with no tusks at all. Like we have another pied wagtail over there on the right. Again, this big elephant bull has some nice tatty ears. So I've done quite a bit of work with elephant researchers before. I helped to compile elephant ID kits, which I must say takes a lot of time. Because these ID kits comprise of the ears, all the shapes and notches and grooves. Like see this boy on his left ear, it's got kind of like a bit of a slit. So all these different shapes and holes and grooves in their ears help to form their unique, almost fingerprint, just as with their feet. So every elephant has a very unique fingerprint or patterns underneath their feet, and that's what I have also spent quite a bit of time on. There's some relocated elephants that were in Zimbabwe being moved from one area to the other. We took imprints of their feet, and I had to trace and draw out 10 elephants. Normally you take 2 imprints of each of their feet, so normally a front left, back right, or front right, back left. You use these imprints, put it into a database. Once you've sketched it out, put it into a database, and you can actually, by their feet, track these elephants to find which countries they go, how far they explore. I've done the same thing with rhinos. I must say rhinos is a lot easier. An elephant's foot is quite a large thing to trace, all the tiny little grooves and cracks and ridges. Not the easiest thing to trace, but obviously a lot of animals do have collars, so collars are very obviously it's a bit more of an expensive method of tracking elephants. And these collars they put on these elephants, I must say, are quite heavy. Some of them can weigh anything from about 40 to 45 kilograms, which for an elephant is nothing. And most of these collars will last anything, depending on the batteries, can last anything from about 6 months to, if you're lucky, some of them can last a year. But yeah, generally the batteries end up conking out. The bull is displaying himself, making us know that he is definitely a big boy and should be careful. Got his ears up there. I recently well, why don't we take the chance, folks, to just meditate a little bit. I know I need to definitely slow down and catch my breath every now and then. So while we watch these elephant bulls probably come and feed on this acacia tree, why don't we just practice some breathing, some deep breaths in and out, meditate, just kind of have a moment of appreciation for this beautiful view we have in front of us. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. savanna elephants or the savanna bush elephants have kind of almost the same, very similar smell from one bull to the other. Forest elephant bulls, on the other hand, have a very different smell altogether. I think for me, the strongest smell I've ever smelt of an elephant bull and must have been a forest elephant, and this poor thing. So sometimes again they get this overwhelming elevation of testosterone and hormones. I've even seen in some elephant species where their glands and the sides of their face swell up to almost like the size of like a small football. And yeah, that's, oh, he picked up his head, noticed something. Yeah, so yeah, they just get this overwhelming elevated levels of testosterone, and it just, yeah, goes straight to their head. And yeah, this one elephant bull, the ones we were, again, as with quite a few of my interesting forest elephant encounters, we had to evacuate from a forest because there were elephants all around us and we had clients. And so we quickly got into the car. And as we were driving out the forest, we found another big elephant bull that the smell just kind of hit us in the face as soon as we drove past. So that smell is so pungent and so strong. Sometimes even once an elephant has left the area for half an hour to 45 minutes after an elephant is no longer in the area, you can still smell that smell. And as we were driving out the forest, we saw this big bull on the right. We turned the car off, and instantly, again, we didn't even need to see him properly to tell that this elephant bull was a must. And he instantly turned towards us. You can see his body language was very aggressive and hostile. His ears were out. His trunk was kind of, he was lifting it up to smell us. And oh, no, no, no. So yeah, we started the vehicle again. And as he very quickly made his way through the forest towards us, we decided to very quickly make our way out of the forest away from him. And yeah, must say that smell, I'll never forget that smell. Sure, if you have ever been on safari in Africa and seen elephants, I'm sure at some stage you would have passed at least one bull that smells very pungent, and that would be the smell of an elephant bull in dust. There's sounds like a brown-hooded kingfisher calling in the distance there. Oh, we've got some more elephants here, and just as we were speaking of, there's one elephant bull with a collar there. So these collars do eventually fall off. Um, some of them might stay on for quite a while, but sometimes these individuals, yeah, hopefully the collar will at some stage fall off, or if any game capture team does happen to find the collar, if it's causing any sort of discomfort, they will actually remove these collars. It's quite cute. So elephants obviously will have their collars around their necks. Because if they put a collar on an elephant's foot, I can guarantee you they will probably be able to get it off. But rhinos actually have their little ankle bracelets for their collars too. Quite cute, but again, pretty effective. But I must say, if the rhino is lying down in a slightly depressed area and its one foot is underneath its body, the signal can be temporarily unstable or get a bit lost. And I, again, have learned this the hard way when tracking black rhino. We briefly lost the signal and decided to go walking to look for it. And yeah, he popped out of the thickets. Obviously, he was lying on his little ankle bracelet with a tracking device. And we lost the signal. And yep, found a very unhappy black rhino that wasn't expecting to have his nap disturbed by some humans. So tonight, thank you very much for. Yeah, I know this definitely has greened up quite a lot here in Tembe. Surely a lot more than when I was last 10 days ago now, or 2 weeks ago. That was the last time I was live at the waterhole, and it has, yeah, color has changed quite a bit. It's nice to see a bit of greenery as opposed to over in the watering hole. At Safari Lodge in Zimbabwe, it's rather dry. We've got an elephant having a mud bath. Look at him. This elephant ball is having such a nice little bath. Oh, look at this elephant. So I must tell you a funny story, Catherine. I'm sure you would appreciate this. On my last horseback safari, we were in a pan, just like this elephant is in a pan right now, with the horses while they were having a quick drink. It was a full-day ride, so we stopped so the horses can have a drink. And a few horses started pawing at the water, just like this elephant ball was pouring at the water here. And I was concerned that one of the guests' horses, she was a young little horse, might decide to take a swim. So while I briefly lost kind of more paying attention to the client to make sure that her horse got out the water, because I could just see her horse dropping into the water and going for a swim. I briefly lost concentration of my own horse, and my horse decided to take me for a nice pool party in the pan, an unexpected pool party in the pan. So my horse literally dropped down to the ground and went onto its side. Luckily, it was muddy, so I managed to quickly get my foot out from underneath my horse and quickly jumped up and grabbed it. But yeah, so that was rather entertaining. Definitely unplanned. I did not plan to go for a mud bath that day. Luckily, everything of mine is always 100% waterproof because I went into this pan straight into the mud, saddle, cell phone, binoculars, laser pointers, everything into the mud, just like this elephant bull is having in this mud bath. So yeah, that was probably one of my highlights of the last trip, was getting baptized by my horse in a pan in the middle of Zimbabwe. Well, this elephant bull looks like he's having an absolutely fabulous time having a mud bath here, but why don't we head across to Old Donyo and see what is happening in Old Donyo? Sorry, I think we're going to head over to Tau Lodge. Maybe we're having some technical difficulties with our camera in Old Donyo. Let's see what's happening at Tau Lodge. Wow, looks like this was quite a change of scenery from Tembe. Not as much greenery here at Tau Lodge. Lots of wildebeest here. Some elephants that look like they've just come from having a drink. Yeah, this place Yep, definitely dry season is upon us. You can tell not much greenery out there. So these poor wildebeest have obviously walked from very far and wide in order to get to this watering hole to have a drink, and they're probably going to walk quite some distance to find some food again. Same with the elephants. So Picasso was making a comment about the elephants and the elephant calves, how they possibly look a little bit unsettled at the moment. So yeah, there will be a lot of displacement behavior this year coming from a lot of individuals, not just elephants, and of course a lot of different individuals within a group. Yeah, with the drought that we're having, not enough food, not enough water, definitely going to see a lot of displacement behavior amongst a lot of animals. Yeah, but of course, kind of these cycles do come and go as they need to, and it is all part of natural selection and population control as well. So these elephants have obviously come down for a nice drink and now just contemplating life, wondering how far do they have to walk to get the next meal. So, fortunately, at a lot of pans in Africa, you will get this kind of opening up and clearing of a lot of vegetation close to watering holes, which then makes it more and more difficult for animals to find food to eat. So you get longer periods or distances these animals have to walk in order to find some food. You can see the alpha female there leading this little herd. So these are probably her daughters and granddaughters and her daughters' daughters. So yeah, nice little family group. You can see a little one suckling there. Sorry, folks, we have a game viewer that's just in the background there, coming for a game drive. Now we've got some impala. Nice little herd of impala, or bachelor herd. Alrighty, well, there's not too much activity here in Tau, so why don't we go back to our camera in Oldonyo, Kenya, and see what's happening there. Welcome back to Oldonyo, everyone. We've got another big tusker here. You see, he's a very good example of uneven tusks and broken tusks in elephants. Again, it's also quite commonly known for some elephants in very dry regions in the dry season. Their tusks also take quite a knock as well. The tusks become very dry and brittle, which also doesn't help. It makes it very easy to break pieces off or snap pieces off. Actually, recently in Wangi, we found a mineral sodak area where obviously a lot of elephants had been feeding on the minerals in the soils, and we found a lot of broken pieces of tusks there. Yeah, obviously while they're feeding and trying to dig and get the minerals out, they do break their tusks from time to time. having a nice mud bath. Look at that beautiful blue sky, nice clouds. It's a Wednesday, it's hump day, so it's all uphill from here. The weekend is also on its way, so isn't that just great? Look at this elephant. He's got his trunk balancing on his tusk there. He must be rather heavy carrying around a trunk that can weigh a few 100 kilograms. So, folks, looks like we're having some slight technical difficulties here. The camera seems to be freezing a little bit. So yeah, apologies for that, folks. The camera over in Aldania tends to have some challenges today. We have come back to see what's happening in our other locations. We've got some red hartebeest. There's also some wildebeest in the background there, some elephants, and there's something on this little green patchy island just in front of us. No, there's a red-billed teal, but is this bird, is it a vulture? Is it, oh, there we go. We have an Egyptian goose there, 3 Egyptian geese. Nice red hartebeest. Isn't that a magnificent creature, that? Also coming for a midday drink. I love their eyes. Hartebeest have very deep reddish kind of eyes. And those horns of theirs are very uniquely shaped, curving forward and arching backwards. He's very skeptical here. He knows there are crocodiles in this pan, so he needs to be very careful. Oops, wildebeest are taking off. On the right-hand side, we have. What do we have? Some Franklin. Is it some Franklin? You always keep a scan out for our crocodiles here too. Wildebeest are feeling rather playful. Here's some little waxbills calling behind the camera somewhere. Let's have a scan, see where our crocodiles are. Whoop. I must say, it is always very fascinating to me how each and every different animal has evolved in order to blend into their particular environments. To me, it always looks like the back of a wildebeest has run past someone with a paintbrush and got a very conspicuous brush mark across his back there. Spur-winged goose, there we go. I was wondering what this black fluffy thing was. I didn't know. It looked like it could have been a hooded vulture. It's nice to see a spur-winged goose here. I believe in Cape Town there are quite a few restaurants that actually serve the spur-winged goose as part of their cuisine. I believe it's quite a delicacy. Nice meat. Let's see, where's our crocodiles? I often see black crakes here. African Jacana. There's a little black crake. Looks like our spurwing having a bit of a nap. Very impressive colorations on his bill there. Nice red beacon bill. Where was it? I think it was in Botswana. We recently saw a lot of spurwing geese all flocking in to Maremi. Must be Maremi area. A lot of spurwings. These geese can also fall prey to cats as well. Seen a video of a leopard managing to kill a spurwing goose by surprise. I think it was a similar setting to this. The spurwing was sleeping somewhere close to the water, not expecting this to be pounced upon by a leopard. Looks like we have a crocodile there. There are two pretty big crocodiles in this pan. Most of the time we see them basking on the islands, but maybe this crocodile has decided to cool himself off a bit. So obviously crocodiles are ectothermic, so they need to use the heat of the sun in order to regulate their temperature, warm up their bodies. It's amazing how the scoots on the back of a crocodile kind of act like little solar panels, absorbing the sunshine. I mean, it is winter at the moment, so I know most reptiles, even crocodiles, are a little bit more placid during this time. They don't need to feed and eat as much, but this crocodile would definitely chomp on a spurwing goose if he had the chance. They are very opportunistic hunters. I don't see why not. As the water in these pans start drying out and getting lower and lower, these crocodiles will kind of start having less and less place to move around, as you can see. And yeah, definitely in areas where the watering holes are not being pumped, the crocodiles would need to make sure that they move out before all of the water dries up completely. Looks like a crocodile's trying to get out the water there. We've got a few elephants still around. Oh, got a tuskless individual there. Again, some liquid coming from their temporal glands. Could be a sign of stress. It's like two tuskless individuals. So this could be a little family unit then. So Lewis has sent through a question about why the animals are so comfortable with getting close to the crocodiles in this area. So as you saw, Lewis, I don't know if you saw that hartebeest was actually drinking from a little muddy puddle that was quite far away from like one of the main streams. So at this time, it is difficult for crocodiles to actually hunt. One, because the water is very shallow, so they can be seen very easily, and two, it restricts their movement when they don't have enough water in the pan. So it'd be less of a threat during these times, especially if animals know where the crocodiles are. But you can definitely see they are cautious and wary to be too close to the water, and especially in the rainy season, you'll find a lot of animals are very cautious around watering holes because, yeah, you don't know what's lurking under there waiting for them. It seems to be quite a popular spot where those elephants are there. A lot of signs of animals feeding on the minerals behind them, and I often see when the animals come in to drink, just like with the zebra here, they often come to feed at that far end of the pan, so that could also be a safety mechanism. So there's some more hens there. Oh, shame, look at this dry terrain. Poor little zebra also wants to come in for a bit of a drink. So this green vegetation will be great for things like elephants. Bush pigs will definitely love to come and feed on this kind of vegetation at night. Warthogs, but yeah, warthogs, they better be careful again of those crocodiles that are lurking around. So Tanya, um, it is definitely looking very dry. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, this year is going to be quite a big drought in a lot of regions, which is not necessarily always a bad thing. But yeah, it's definitely very dry. Unfortunately, we've just got into August, second week of August, 14th of August. And yeah, in a lot of these areas where our cameras are located, a lot of our locations can only really expect rain maybe in November, December, if we are lucky. So there's still some hot months to come. August in a lot of southern African countries signifies the end of winter, so we are no longer in winter anymore, although it is rather chilly, I must say, with the wind, or windy Wednesdays. But yeah, which is quite, yeah, obviously very common in a lot of southern African regions at this time. A lot of very strong winds. I would hate to be in Cape Town at the moment. I believe the weather in Cape Town is quite miserable. So yeah, not the best time to go to Cape Town in August, September. I would not recommend. But yeah, then kind of start hoping for the rains by end of November, going into December. Zebra, for some reason, seem a bit nervous to come down to drink. Maybe they saw that crocodile moving earlier. Some wildebeest also pulling in, a blue wildebeest. We have a blacksmith plover. I think it is nesting time for these blacksmith plovers at the moment. They are a ground nesting bird, the blacksmith plovers. They'll be nesting on the bank shores of rivers, lakes, pans, and if any predators or any danger comes nearby, blacksmith plovers are very well known for being very efficient mobbing birds. So they mob down onto any kind of intruders that might pose a threat to their nest or chicks. Can be quite frustrating being mobbed by a blacksmith plover. Nice herd of wildebeest coming in for a drink. I always find it fascinating when you're at a watering hole. It's like everyone's always too nervous. All the animals are a little bit nervous to come down to drink. They always wait for one sacrifice to go down first. And once one or two start drinking, everyone else pulls in for a drink. Then they know that it's safe. Safe and sound, no crocodiles around. Wonder if our spurwing has any other friends. So I've seen maximum 2 spurwings at this pan before. Obviously, I know I've seen some coots, red-knobbed coots at this pan, and also your red-billed teals. I think those are the ones kind of just to the left of where those elephants are in the distance in the water. So Cat Fan is saying that it is surprising to see a spurwing goose by itself. That's why I'm guessing there's probably another one close by somewhere. But yeah, I'm very curious about Botswana. Why Botswana had so many spurwing geese early in the year. I think it was, say, April, May, when I was in Botswana, and I've never in my whole life seen so many spurwing geese all together at the same time. Maybe it could be drying water sources pushing them all into one area or new areas, or yeah, there's definitely a lot of interesting behavior. A lot of bird species at the moment moving into areas, moving out of areas. Wildebeest. I'm calling it for a drink full of beans. It's nice just listening to the sounds of the birds. It is lovely to see so much activity at this pan at the moment. Let's see if I can count all the water species, water birds that are here. Whoop, something's happening there. It looks like the teals or Egyptian geese or something are chasing each other around. So we have blacksmith plover, we have Egyptian goose, we have some red-knobbed coots over there. I saw African jacana. We have the red-billed teal. I saw black crake and your lesser moorhen. So 7 different waterfowl species, all in one little pan. Quite impressive. And if you've never seen a red-knobbed coot's feet, I would definitely recommend Googling the red-knobbed coot's feet. They have quite interesting feet, I must say. Very, they almost look reptile-like. Yeah, so there we go. Yep, teals are there. So there's quite a few teals, red-billed teals. So it was the teals chasing each other around. Could be a dominance, some sort of dominance display. With the shrinking water levels, you see there's less space for all these birds. Aren't they cute little ducks? Red-billed teal. No, they do look very similar to the Cape teal. Oh, there's a yellow-billed. Is it yellow-billed duck? Wow, it's another bird species to add to our list. A few yellow-billed ducks over there. So I'm just having a look here between Cape teal and red-billed teal. Obviously, Cape teal most occurs in a lot of southern African regions, especially near Cape Town, whereas your red-billed teal kind of distribution stretches further up into northern East Africa and is a lot more common all year round. Otherwise, they do look very similar, the Cape teal and the red-billed teal. I do very much like the blue-billed teal, or it used to be Hottentot teal. I guess it must have changed. The blue-billed teal. It's also quite a cute little duck. don't know if we have any birders that have ever been. I'm just having a look here. If you have any birders that have done much birding in Cape Town that have ever seen a fynbos button quail. So another one of my favorite little birds are the button quails. And we've got here a little fynbos button quail, which is quite a cute little bird as well. I'm sure I must have seen them at some stage while I was in Cape Town, but again, I did not confirm a pair of binoculars. So I'm going to say no, I have not seen a fynbos button quail. My favorite quail is the harlequin button quail. They are very cute little birds, very dark, deep black and burgundy colors. Yeah, almost like a bit of a golden sheen to them. Very cute little birds, I must say. The quails, common quails, obviously found in quite a wide variety of habitats. And GC, this is definitely a lovely mixed flock of waterfowl. There's our crocodile on the left there. Another crocodile. Find the second one. Where have they gone? Where have they gone? Guys, see our crocodile there. Decided to come out of the water and absorb a bit of those rays of the sun before the cold night approaches. I don't know if anyone has ever watched any documentaries with thermal imaging or night vision cameras. I must say I do really enjoy. You see animals or even like crocodiles going into the water. So these thermal imaging obviously pick up on the body heat of animals. But once they go into the water, it's almost like they're getting this white paint splashed all over them as they lose their body heat. It's rather interesting, I must say, to watch these thermal imaging documentaries. But I must say, what they're doing with night photography is out of this world. If you have ever watched Night, or if you've never watched Night on Earth on this, is it Netflix? I would definitely recommend. Very, very good documentary called Night on Earth. I'm a very big Netflix and Disney Plus documentary fan. So if anyone has any favorite documentaries they would like to share with me, please do. A recent one that's just come out is called Queens, all about the queens of the animal kingdom. I would also recommend giving it a bit of a watch. Lots of interesting behavior going on there. And our spowing has also decided to go for a bit of a nap. Well, it has been a fabulous afternoon here at Live at the Waterhole. I have really enjoyed all of our sightings today, as with many days. Oldonyo definitely took the cake. Lots of activity in Oldonyo over in Kenya. And as mentioned with the updates from our live drives, I would really recommend you tuning into this afternoon's the sunset safari. See what Amy and Cedric can find for you. I would imagine that there's probably still a lot of lion and leopard activity with all the kills going on. They're not going to be able to finish that buffalo in a short period of time unless all the lions pitch up. But yeah, lots of activity on Juma, lots of activity on Amakala. So I would 100% recommend tuning into our sunset safari. So from me and the rest of the Wild Earth team, I just want to say a big thank you to all of our viewers for joining us today. I will be with you for the rest of this week, so I'm looking forward to seeing what we can find tomorrow at Live at the Waterhole. From me and the rest of the team, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day, and please take some time to just soak up this lovely nature. And have a lovely day, folks. From me, that'll be all.
Well, a very good afternoon to everybody. Thank you for joining us once again for our highlight show on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon.